Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel Align with Nyx. If you're new here, my name is Nyx, and in this space we're going to explore the energetic and cosmic patterning moving through our lives so we can navigate them with more awareness, intention, and self-trust. Now today we're going to be diving into the energy of Aries season. Now if you've been following the last couple of readings, you know we've been moving through some very deep emotional waters. Pisces season tends to bring reflection, endings, and spiritual processing, as well as emotional clearing. It's the part of the cycle where we release, integrate, and sit with what's been surfacing beneath the surface. But when the sun moves into Aries, the energy shifts dramatically. And that's because Aries is fire. It's the spark of life itself. It's the ignition point of the zodiac. It's the moment where the universe says, alrighty, so you've done the reflecting, now it's time to move, right? So this energy of this upcoming season is going to be very different from what we've just moved through. Where Pisces had asked us to feel and surrender, Aries is asking us to initiate and act. Now, for some people, this shift feels exciting. It feels motivating, energizing, even liberating to some degree. Now for others, it can feel a little confronting, but that's because Aries energy doesn't really allow us to sit in stagnation for too long. Aries activates things. It pushes things forward. It brings us face to face with the question, what are you going to do next? So today, we're going to talk about the archetype of Aries. We'll look at the current cosmic climate surrounding this season, and then we'll move into the card pull to see what guidance wants to come through for us collectively as we navigate this next chapter. Now, if you do not wish to listen to the cosmic forecast and you just want to jump right ahead to the cards, please fast forward to the timestamp. I'll put it somewhere on the screen for you. And then, yeah, so just before we begin, let's take a moment to ground ourselves. I'm just gonna grab my incense real quick. It's almost done. Okay, so I'm gonna invite you to take a nice deep breath in and slowly breathe it out. Now, as we move through this reading, I open this space up with intention that any guidance that comes through today serves the highest good of everyone listening, bringing clarity, insight, and alignment to exactly where it's needed. Now, let's talk about the archetype of Aries, shall we? Now, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? It represents beginnings, initiation, and the raw life force that pushes something into existence. It's ruled by Mars, which is the planet of drive, courage, action, and sometimes conflict. Now, because of that, Aries often gets reduced to things like aggression or impulsiveness, but there is actually a lot more depth to this archetype than some people may realize. Now, at its core, Aries represents the pioneer. It's the energy that steps into the unknown before anyone else does, right? It's the part of the human spirit that says, I don't exactly know what's going on here and I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. And Aries energy is courageous. It is incredibly honest as well. And I think that's beautiful. There's a very direct quality to Aries. It doesn't tend to hide behind masks or play emotional chess games. It's the archetype that says what it feels, stands up for what it believes in, and defends what it loves. And I think that that's a lesser talked about aspect of Aries energy that is actually very protective. See, when Aries cares about someone or something, it will fight for it. Not always in a destructive way, but in a fiercely loyal, protective way. Aries also carries a youthful spirit. It's curious, it's passionate, enthusiastic, and willing to take risks in order to grow. It's the part of us still willing to believe that something new is possible. Now, like every archetype, Aries does have its shadow side, right? So when the energy becomes imbalanced, it can show up as impulsiveness, impatience, reacting emotionally instead of responding consciously, or making decisions purely from ego or frustration. So the medicine for Aries season isn't just action for action's sake. I'd say it's more intentional action. It's learning how to move with courage while staying connected to your awareness, your discernment, and your deeper sense of purpose. Okay? Aries reminds us that life requires movement, growth requires movement, evolution requires movement, but it also asks us to move with integrity. So, with that said, let's talk about the larger cosmic climate surrounding this Aries season, because there's a few important energetic layers happening right now. So I'm just going to pull up my notes. It's in my laptop. Take like 42 for this section. I am fumbling on my words like crazy, so I apologize. I may not look up too much right now because I'm trying to lock in. My voice is starting to go and I still got cards to pull. So I apologize if I don't look at the camera for the next like 10 minutes, but I'm going to try to engage with you guys at least visually. Now, just before Aries season begins, we experience the new moon in Pisces on the 18th of March. Now, new moons always represent new beginnings, but happening in Pisces, the energy is going to feel reflective, spiritual, but also maybe a little emotionally sensitive. Now, Pisces is the final sign in the zodiac. It's the place where cycles close, where we process what we've experienced, and where we release what no longer belongs in the next chapter of our lives, right? So this new moon right before Aries season almost acts kind of like a final energetic clearing, which I think is dope. It's the universe's way of asking us to sit with what we've learned, to release the emotional weight that we've been carrying, and then to reconnect with our intuition before we step into the next cycle. And almost immediately after, we are going to be moving through the spring equinox, which marks the moment that the sun enters Aries. The equinox is one of the most powerful points in the year. But that's because day and night are equal in balance, and energetically it represents the moment where life begins to surge forward again. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. Come on, spring. Now, in many ways, the equinox is the natural new year of the zodiac. So if you're like me and you celebrate the New Year's during the spring equinox, Happy New Year, lovelies. So you can almost imagine this sequence kind of like a breath, right? The Pisces new moon, we exhale, we release, we surrender, but then comes in the equinox, and Aries season begins with this inhale of like new life force energy. But what makes this specific Aries season slightly different from Aries seasons in the past is the larger backdrop of planetary movement happening all around it. Now, earlier this year, we experienced a very rare conjunction, which was Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees within Aries, right? This is significant because these two planets represent two very different forces. Saturn is structure, discipline, responsibility, the reality of the material world, whereas Neptune represents dreams, intuition, spirituality, imagination, and sometimes illusion. Let's not lie, right? When these two meet, there's often a moment where dreams are asked to become real, or illusions are asked to dissolve. It's not enough to simply envision what you want anymore. There's a stronger collective invitation to begin building it. Now, another influence we are navigating involves Uranus, the planet associated with disruption, awakening, and sudden change. Now, Uranus first stepped into Gemini, I believe July of 2025, but is currently moving back through Taurus before re-entering Gemini April 25th of this year. This transitional phase tends to stir up rapid shifts around communication, information, technology, and the way ideas move through society. So collectively, we're entering a period where the pace of change around knowledge and messaging and shared information begins to accelerate quite quickly. And some of us may already be seeing like the early signs of that right now. Earlier this year, we also moved through some powerful eclipse energy. On the 17th of February, we had the annular solar eclipse in Aquarius, also called the Ring of Fire. Now, solar eclipses open up new cycles, and this one highlighted themes around innovation, community, and ways of thinking about the future. March 3rd, we just had the total lunar eclipse in Virgo, which brought closure to the Virgo Pisces eclipse cycle that began back in 2024. Now, lunar eclipses tend to illuminate what needs to be released. Now, for many of us, this one highlighted our daily habits, routines, and ways of caring for our physical and emotional well-being. So collectively, we've been moving through a period of clearing and recalibration leading into this new Aries cycle. Now, underneath it all, we are still in a long-term influence of Pluto in Aquarius, a transit that will shape the collective for the next 2 decades, okay? Now, Pluto represents deep transformation. It dismantles outdated systems and reveals hidden power dynamics so that something new can emerge. So when you zoom out and you look at the bigger picture, we're living in a time where both personal and collective transformation is happening simultaneously. Now, there's one more energetic layer that adds an interesting nuance to this Aries season. And in Chinese astrology, we've also entered the year of the fire horse. Now, the horse archetype represents freedom, independence, movement, powerful life force, right? And when that archetype carries the fire element, the energy becomes more passionate, more bold, more driven. So when we layer that archetype on top of Aries season, something interesting happens energetically, at least in my opinion. See, Aries fire is like the spark, but fire horse energy is more like the wildfire that runs once the spark catches, okay? So when what we're looking at collectively right now, I apologize, isn't just initiation, it's momentum, okay? And that's why this Aries season can feel like a different kind of fire. It's not just impulsive action or adrenaline pushing us forward. Because Saturn is involved, the fire asks for responsibility. Because Neptune is involved, the fire asks for alignment with something meaningful. So instead of the usual jump first, think later kind of Aries energy, this season feels more like an internal awakening. Almost like there's something inside of the collective, just generally speaking, kind of saying, I know I can't stay where I've been anymore, right? And there's that spark there, but the momentum behind it is stronger than usual, okay? So with that in mind, we got through it, finally did it. Let's turn to the cards and see what guidance has to come through for us for this Aries season. I'm gonna flip the camera and pull the card, lay it out, do what I've been doing, okay? I'll be right back. Alrighty, so cards are shuffled, laid out, crystals on top, guidance, the energy of the guidance is stirring. So just keep in mind the cosmic backdrop that we just discussed, okay? As I pull the cards and we see what guidance comes through. Now, as always, please remember this is a collective reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your intuition as you watch or listen, and feel free to circle back anytime. Though these readings are based off of the zodiac season, I do believe that readings are timeless. So just circle back whenever you need, okay? I also want to invite you to observe the cards with me. Pay attention to the imagery, the colors, the symbols. Even make note of any somatic sensation that might move through your body as I turn the cards over and give my interpretation, okay? Some people notice things that I may miss, so I would love to hear your interpretations. So if anything does stand out, please share it in the comments. It helps me. I enjoy seeing what you picked up on, but it also helps other viewers kind of embolden the message as well for themselves. I really hope I chose the right word there. Okay, so with that said, before we get started, I just kind of want to explain the layout really quickly. We have the Oracle of the 7 energies. This is going to focus on the internal landscape, think mindset, emotional patterns, and any deeper energetic themes that we may be navigating here. Here, this is the Signs of the Times, one of my favorite decks. This is going to focus on what's showing up in our physical world. So think opportunities, choices, circumstances, or maybe even some life developments, okay? Down here, we have the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. Now, this one's going to focus on the spiritual guidance and support that's available as we move through this season. We have my Soul Into You Affirmations deck, which I actually decided I'm not going to pull from just now. My Aligned Guidance deck that is going to focus on helping us integrate the cosmic and the guidance in one. And instead of pulling from here, I'm going to pull from here. my bowl of messages. These messages are a mixture of self-care tips and channeled messages that I prepared for an event that I just concluded, and these ones were not given out. So why not share one of them with you, right? Right, let's do this. Okay, so first card here, is a powerful move. Funny enough, when I was shuffling the first row, I got zapped with this energy surge. And with these two specifically, they came out at the exact same time. I was like, okay, clearly this has to be a part of the reading. This one gave me kind of like a peculiar energy, like more like curiosity, but these two, specifically these two, zapped me. And now I can kind of see why, right? So right away, this tells me that there's like some strong activation energy behind this message, maybe even the whole reading, we'll see. So visually, there's a lot happening here. We have this disco ball sphere with the silver and purple all about it. We got some pink at the bottom here. We have this white light kind of reflecting around it, and it's a bright white glow behind the ball, almost like illumination, or realizing there's something coming from behind the scenes. Sorry if I'm not in the camera. We also see two chess pieces, one white near the bottom, this golden winged one near the top. With this, I'm hearing trumpets, almost like there's a triumph or a celebration of some kind. Now, chess symbolism is really interesting because chess is a game of strategy. It's not about moving impulsively. It's about thinking ahead, understanding the board, and making intentional decisions. So this message coming through here is very aligned with Aries energy, but with a layer of awareness, right? Yes, this season is about taking action, but it's also about intentional action. I believe I mentioned that earlier. Now, as you can see, there's also this key here in the keyhole imagery. And if you watch my Pisces season reading, you might remember that key came up there as well, I think twice. So the messaging with this is almost like, kind of like reminding you that you are the key. You are the one who decides when the doors open and which doors will open. What this card is saying to me is that many of you already know what you want to move toward, okay? But Aries season is asking you to stop only thinking about it and actually begin making moves. This card feels like pressure. I'm feeling pressure in my shoulders and my upper back, almost like people have been carrying the weight of a lot for a long time. And the message I'm getting here is, don't carry the weight forward with you into the next chapter, okay? Put it down. I'm hearing put it down. If you're going to make a power move, make it from a place of clarity, not from emotional spikes like anger, fear, pressure, or emotional reactivity, good or bad. Do it from a place of neutrality. Let curiosity lead you instead of past expectations, because the light behind the card suggests that there is real progress available. But you, my love, you've got to turn the key, okay? Now, next we have, I wanted to say the land before time, the land between. Anyways, this card shows up with a floating patch in the center. There's two bridges that extend towards two separate mountains. Now, on one side looks foggy and smoky, while the other side looks much clearer. So right away, this imagery speaks to transition, being between chapters, being between the past and the future, or between two decisions. The interesting part is that neither path feel wrong. Both bridges lead forward, right? But one may feel more complicated, more emotionally heavy, or more confusing than the other. Either way, the path is laid out for you, but you have to decide which to walk. You have to decide which door to open, okay? Which key to turn, which door to open. This is also giving me a visual of like the Tower card in the tarot deck. And with that, I'm hearing, do you want to burn down with a tower, or do you want to jump out and rebuild it from the rubble type of thing? Energetically, when I look at this card, I feel a lot of sensation kind of like in my chest space, almost like a tightening or pressure in the heart space, which can feel like anxiety when people are standing at a crossroads. So if you are standing at a crossroads and you're feeling the pressure of anxiety, my heart goes out to you. I know what that's like. It is very uncomfortable, okay? This card reminds us that being in the in-between is not failure. It's a developmental stage. Something is still taking root, okay? There's sunlight beginning to break through the center of this card, which tells me clarity is emerging, but it may not be fully formed yet. So Aries season may be asking you to begin to move while some things are still unfolding, okay? And that's okay, because sometimes clarity doesn't arrive before movement. Sometimes it arrives through movement, which actually reminds me of something that I recently created called the Threaded In Between. I'm going to do a shameless plug here, okay? It's a virtual workshop that I created for a platform called Fem Body Studios, which is a space that focuses on the empowerment of feminine energy and the feminine through movement, dance, and embodied practices, which I'll link the information to the platform in the description below. Now, the workshop that I created explores this exact concept, the space in between where we were and where we're going, okay? Now, because a lot of people experience the in-between as uncomfortable or stagnant, but in reality, that's often where integration happens. It's where lessons land. It's where nervous system recalibrates. It's where the next version of you starts forming. So if this card resonates with you, this might be a resource, the Fem Body Studios, that you might want to go and explore. Now, on top of that, I am about to record a meditation for this space in between to help us navigate when we are in that space. So please look out for that on my YouTube channel, okay? Now, on to the next one. Here we have a great big love. So yeah, this card came up with curiosity for me, and I'm still feeling it now. Like there's something curious about this energy. Now the colors here are stunning. You got the deep blues, you've got the ocean tone, you've got this bright stream of light moving up through the heart. This card does feel moody, but not in a heavy way. And as you can see, there's this like winged heart floating at the center, almost as if it's being lifted by light. So this card speaks strongly about the heart space, which I was feeling some pressure in the heart space, and this may speak to why. Now, if you've worked with me before, you know I tend to focus more on self-connection and self-love rather than strictly romantic love, because the relationship we have with ourselves tend to set the tone for other connections in our lives. At least that's my beliefs. But this card suggests that love in many forms is going to be an important theme for some people during Aries season, okay? There seems to be a lot of mystery and curiosity that just keeps circulating in this energy. A question that comes to mind right now is, how do you receive, perceive, and give love to yourself and to others? Something in this is recalibrating, and it feels like it needs to. So I'm going to suggest a book called All About Love from Bell Hooks, a fabulous author and activist, by the way. I consider this book Bible. No matter where you are in your journey, if you're on a high, a low, or you're in between, this book touches you, it enlightens you, and it moves you. So please go check it out if you haven't already, and if you already have it, read it again and again and again. Okay, so but now for some of you, this great big love energy may be deepening a current connection. For others, it could be meeting someone new who changes the way you understand love. And for others, it may simply be a deeper connection with yourself. I'm hearing something about soulmates. Maybe some of you are hoping to find yours. I just want to say this though, soulmates are not only romantic. They can be friends, family members, mentors, or even moments of self-awakening. So just take that into consideration, okay? Look internally before looking externally. Now this card does come with a nice warm fuzzy feeling in the heart space, whereas this one gave me tightening, this one is giving me some warmth. But there is a hint of vulnerability, because opening the heart always involves a little bit of risk. But the message here is that love, when it's healthy, should feel expansive, not restrictive. Again, love, when it's healthy, should feel expansive, not restrictive, okay? It should allow healing to happen, and sometimes those healing moments come through being gently triggered, not to hurt us, but to show us where growth is still possible, okay? So on to the next row. Ooh, cowrie shells, nice, abundance. Something we all like to see, right? So cowrie shells have historically been symbols of prosperity and trade in many cultures. So I'm getting abundance energy is definitely present here. It feels like for some that luck is on your side this season, but there's an important reminder attached to this, okay? Manifestation is not passive. That's really loud. Manifestation is not passive. It's not just writing intentions on a piece of paper, waiting for the universe to deliver. It's aligning your actions with your vision. So I'm going to ask you a question here. Are your daily choices bringing you closer to the life you want or further away from it? Because abundance responds to movement. So honor yourself by honoring your vision, okay? If your vision isn't clear, look at the pieces that are and get to work. The universe will supply the ingredients and even work with you, but it will never give you the completed project, okay? I'm also hearing the number 6 circulating, so it could be 6 weeks, 6 months. This could pertain to the abundant opportunities coming your way. Movement on a project that finally takes root and or is gaining momentum, or a time where those glimmers that kept you going start turning into the glam that states you've arrived. I really like how that feels. Next, we have Anchor. I feel like I pulled this card before. Anyways, for some of us, work stability is on the horizon. Many people are seeking security in work, finances, relationships, or emotional stability. And for some of us, that stability is coming into reach, okay? But the card also asks, again, another question. Have you accepted where you are currently? Whether you're in your light or sitting in your ick, have you accepted it? Because acceptance brings clarity, and clarity allows movement, okay? For some people, the desire for security can actually start clouding your judgment. So if you're still sitting in scarcity, if old self-sabotaging patterns are still running the show, if you're stuck in victim mentality of life is always happening to me, then it becomes very hard to see those opportunities that are already trying to meet you, okay? It is, if this is showing up for you, like in that way, it's a call to start doing the work. So talk to a coach, talk to a therapist, talk to a mentor, someone who can support you in moving through this phase, okay? Because the universe, your guides, your ancestors, none of them want you struggling any more than you want to be struggling. And nobody wants to struggle, which means they don't want you struggling. So get the help, get the support. But the universe, your ancestors, guides, they can only meet you where you're willing to take action here on this earthly plane. So don't hold yourself back by clinging to what feels predictable. Finish shutting the bullshit, okay? Finish shutting thy bullshit. Now we've got Flamingo. Fun. I'm hearing a little laughter in the background. Honestly, this card feels like a bit of a cosmic relief from the universe because life has been heavy for a lot of people lately. This message is simple but powerful, honestly. Have fun. Stop being serious all the time. Pisces season did ask you to feel and play so you could flow. Some of you ignored that part. So Aries season is asking you to lighten the fuck up, okay? So take this as a healthy reminder to open yourself up to some light, okay? Do the things that you enjoy doing. Do the things you wanted to do but haven't. Explore the things you're curious about. Be silly. Laugh louder. Step into your fire. Joy and play are not distractions from manifestation. They actually are a part of it, okay? When people are laughing, creating, exploring, and enjoying life, their energy naturally rises and causes an attraction. So that higher energy tends to attract new opportunities and connections. So just take that into consideration, okay, love? Lighten up, laugh, be silly. All right, so next we have, nature's spirits, which feels incredibly aligned with the timing of Aries season and the spring equinox, okay? Nature is waking up, right? And this card suggests that spending time outdoors will be especially restorative during this season. Nature is calling you outside, out the house, get up, get outside, where the elements can nourish you and spark some inspiration in your soul, okay? Go touch grass if you've got grass in your area. Some of us are still kind of frosted over. Hug a tree, walk in the park, stand near water, reconnect with the natural world so your nervous system can reset. The elements of nature are here to support that forward movement that Aries season is trying to usher in, okay? Or that it is ushering in. It's not even trying to. Aries gonna do it. It ain't gonna try. It's just gonna do, okay? Now here we have protection. which is honestly, this is actually a really good reminder that even as things begin to move forward, discernment is still very important, okay? Your intuition will never lie to you. So don't be out here acting all willy-nilly like you have no sense about you, like you have no home training, because you do. Not everyone needs access to your plans, your projects, or your personal life. Not everything sacred needs to be shared immediately. Some things are meant to grow quietly before they're shared with the world. I'm not saying don't tell everybody or tell anybody anything at all. Absolutely talk to your most trusted, but shut up. Okay? Don't be such an open book for everyone. Okay? Have your fun, do your thing, but with all the love in the world, shut it up. Protect what's sacred to you, love. Protect that. Okay. Lastly, from this spread, we've got transformation, which honestly feels kind of like the theme, not only for Aries season, but for the entire period we've been living through lately. We're in an era of deep change collectively, a transformation, and transformation doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it means evolution. Before becoming more aligned with who you truly are, okay? Transformation is one of those words we hear all the time, but it's often romanticized, okay? In reality, transformation can feel uncomfortable. It asks us to shed identities, habits, beliefs, and sometimes even relationships that no longer match who we're becoming. When I look at this card, what stands out is that transformation isn't just about change, it's about alignment. It's the process of slowly removing everything that isn't truly you. And sometimes that means things in your life start shifting in ways that feel unexpected. Opportunities change, priorities change, the way you relate to people changes. But that doesn't mean something is going wrong. It could simply just mean that something deeper is coming into alignment, right? So if things feel like they're moving or rearranging themselves in your life right now, try not to fight the process, even if it is uncomfortable. Try to find your flow. Transformation isn't here. It's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to reveal you. Cool? Cool. Let's get on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Sorry. Oh, they're falling. They're falling. Coming. All right. Well, we got one that fell. Okay, so we have release. So for the integration card, we have release. This card feels like the final message, kind of laying everything together here, because Aries season brings the fire, and the fire clears what no longer grows. So this is kind of like an invitation to let go of the habits, old fears, emotional baggage that you've been carrying, like I said earlier. But you are not your past, okay? You are someone who is continuously evolving. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is deciding what you're no longer willing to carry with you. Decide and release that stuff, okay? So before I get into this affirmation poll, let's zoom out and look at the overall message from this reading. And to me, the theme is very clear. Aries season is asking us for movement, but not reckless movement. Think intentional movement. We see that through the powerful move card here, which reminds us that we hold the key to the doors that we want open. We see it here in the land in between, which acknowledges that many of us are still in a transitional space between chapters in our lives. We also see it here in a great big love, which reminds us that the heart is meant to expand through self-connection, through healing, and through meaningful connection, okay? The second row here reinforces that abundance and stability and opportunity are available, but they meet us through aligned action and through fun. And the third row here reminds us that staying grounded and protected. That reminds us stay grounded, protect what's sacred, and allow transformation to unfold naturally. And then so overall, the message in Aries feels like this: release. Release the past, trust the transition, and take the next step forward, okay? So I'm going to pull from here now before we close out. Okay, you wanted to fall. Let's see what this is. This is Oh, I guess we've got two. So this is a message. Okay, so not every challenge is opposition. Some are refinement. Competition dissolves when you remember that there is no one else who can be you. You are moving through a sacred threshold. Treat yourself accordingly. Step back when your shadow gets loud and remember who you are. What feels intense right now may be reshaping you into something more honest. Your body is a sanctuary. Create from that place. Love it. And this one, the noise around you is loud, but your inner whisper is louder. You don't need more opinions, you need your own permission. Desire is directional. Let your body choose before your mind debates. Let yourself be seen in the fullness of what you want. I love that. All right, now with that said, Aries season is not here to keep you comfortable, my loves. It's here to move you forward. It's here to remind you that courage doesn't mean you have no fear. It means that you move with the fear anyway, okay? This season asks you to stop circling the same stories and start taking aligned action. Start the thing, speak the truth, follow the spark, trust the instinct, move your body, choose the path that actually feels alive, okay? Because Aries season doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates momentum through movement. So let the fire refine you. Let it strengthen your will, and let it remind you that the life you want is built one brave step at a time. Okay? Now, with that said, happy birthday to you bold, passionate, trailblazing Aries out there. May we all borrow a little of your fire this season. I'll see you lovelies in the next one. Take care. As always, twists. Goodbye.